We are live! Yay! Awesome. Okay. So, hi everyone. This is the wrap up for the August wrap up for the Babe Book Club. Awesome. So I will just say a quick disclaimer. We, as part of this book club, we are reading our way through all of the authors that are attending the Books and Bogan and Books event in 2023. However, we are not associated with them in any way, shape or form. We are just total fangirls and want to read as many of these amazing romance authors as we can. So that's our little disclaimer there. All nice and done. And I will let everyone else, or I'm Lana, and I'll let everyone else introduce themselves. Kat, you're on the side.
Yep. Okay. I'm Kat. I'm equally a young girl reading my way through, and down Camellia.
Hi, I'm Camellia. I'm one of the admins from the book club. I am so excited for this month's author. No words. So fangirling like crazy. And thank you. It's wonderful having you here.
Yeah.
So exciting.
Yeah.
And Lana, would you like to introduce yourself?
I was going, do you want me to say my name? I'm Lana.
Well, we can introduce you if you want.
Yeah, I'm okay because I know it's a tough name. 10 letters, it's a bit hard. I'm Lana Pecherczyk. Nice to meet everyone. I am the author of the monthly read, one of the monthly reads, The Longing of Lone Wolves, and I write paranormal and fantasy romance mainly, and I guess I'm Australian. I don't know what else to say. I'm not very good at these things.
Neither are we, clearly.
I'm really excited to be here. So yeah. There you go.
Awesome.
Yeah, no, we're just really excited to have you on board. And we read your book, The Longing of the Lone Wolves, this month. And I don't know about anyone else. Actually, I do. I'm pretty sure the other two admins couldn't stop at one. And so we read all of the series that is currently published and are really hanging out. For the next book, which I heard you this morning announce will be coming out on Halloween. So I'm super excited.
Yeah.
So, I can't wait to see what's going to happen with Haze and Peaches. So, yeah. And I also started your other series this afternoon. Because
The Deadly Seven?
Yes. Yeah.
That superhero. It's kind of sci-fi, paranormal. I blended a bit of both for it because I knew superheroes, even though we've got a lot of diehard fans that are superheroes. I love all the movies, and all that. And I thought to read the series, it needed to be a bit more, familiar. So I put in a lot of common paranormal romance elements into it just so that it's exciting and not too different, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I'm just to the point where they're about to smuggle the babies out, so I'm up to a good bit. So I know what I'm going to be doing tonight and will into tomorrow morning.
So you're right at the start. Yeah,
I am right at the start.
Yeah,
as I said, I am. I only started this afternoon. So. Yeah.
By the way, congratulations to the awards.
Yeah.
Oh yes. The Longing of the Lone Wolves. I should get the book so I can show it. It just won an award, the Prism Award for the Science Fiction and Fantasy Paranormal RWA in the US chapter. So for Best Fantasy Romance, which is really exciting. He's a bit of a show pony, Rush, so I'm sure he's going to be ecstatic for that.
Yeah. And I didn't realise you actually drew the covers. Like I knew you designed them, but you actually draw the characters on them. So
some of them I do. So this dude, this way. He was a stock image. Thank you. And I basically photo manipulation is a lot of it as well, and then you paint over the top of it. So he wasn't lustrous silver hair and everything like that when I started with him. But yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun, and I really enjoy it.
Yeah.
I did do graphic design and marketing before I started writing, and all these things I should have been doing, I did instead of writing, you know. Yeah, so it's all come in handy now, and it's a helpful tool to have. A good procrastinating tool as well.
Yeah.
I can imagine.
No, that's awesome. Well done. Those awards were well deserved, definitely.
Yes.
Thank you. It's definitely exciting to get, you know, recognised like that, especially all the way down here in Australia, in the most isolated city in the world, Perth. You know, we don't get out much here, but so it's definitely nice to feel connected, I think, as well.
Yeah. That's the thing. There's so many book events overseas, and it feels like we're really quite isolated over here.
Yeah.
So yeah, to get the award, it's fantastic.
Yeah, I'm dying to get out of Australia. Even out of our state at some point.
I think everyone's feeling a bit like that. It's I mean, I'll take out of my LGA at the moment. But
soon we can all taste it. It's almost happening.
Almost.
Yeah.
I have like nearly $1,000 of like a Jetstar flight voucher from like March last year.
Yeah.
It's like I want to use it. I don't care where I go. Just let me go.
Take my money. Oh, one day we'll sigh wistfully.
Okay. Well, because I'm just really excited to talk about, I know it's out of order, Kat, and please don't hate me, but can we please talk about Longing of Lone Wolves first?
Yeah. I'm normally the one that organises the order, but yes, go on.
We expected that.
I did expect that.
Awesome. Okay. So other than like the only thing that I didn't like about that book was that I can't read it again for the first time ever again.
Oh, thank you.
It was like it wasn't what I expected.
Yeah, like, my brain does that.
When I started reading it, like the first chapter, I was like, oh, this is not what I expected. And because I was like, oh, it's in like a kind of like a dystopian kind of like, well, at the start it was like almost post-apocalyptic, and then it was there, and I was just like, oh, I like this, and then how it rolled into the story, I was just like, oh, I like this even more. But yeah, I was just blown away.
I loved it. My brain is a little strange. It likes to jump off into random tangents, so I have to constantly bring it all back in all the time. But I also have this weird thing. I love reading fantasy and paranormal and science fiction, and I've got no problem suspending my disbelief. But when I write, I need to have some kind of little link to, I really want this to be possible, you know? So this was 2,000 years into the future, and I wanted it to feel like you don't just go through a weird portal, you know, and you're there or something, but it could actually happen to us today. And then I was like, oh, wouldn't it be funny if some of the girls from today ended up frozen and thrown into this new kind of landscape with these growly, fey wolf shifters and weird stuff happening. And I thought
it was a brilliant idea. And the way you integrated the real stuff that we have with them not knowing. So those were my favorite parts. And hello.
Hi, Angela.
Hi, Angela. They're my favorite parts too. I love bringing them in. And as the series progresses, I've got at least 12 books planned. You know, I'm really looking forward to throwing in some of today's stuff into the future where it's all changed and it's more like the past, and seeing how people, you know, that time travel kind of element to it that is there but it's not really there, and, you know, what would you do, you know, and then, you know, even if you knew you were coming into the 2,000 years later, would you bring anything with you? What would be valuable? What would it be used anymore? Like, can you imagine an Instagram influencer just, you know, nobody even knows what a phone is. So,
or a celebrity with all those diamonds that are worthless.
yeah, exactly. I thought I'll definitely have to think of some really cool things and play with them. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I loved the combination of magic and science. It just, everything just weaved so well together. The post-apocalyptic to the fantasy, and you just combined bits that normally wouldn't go together. And it just, I finished
that's awesome. I'm glad it works.
Yeah,
It's really good.
My girls, and I'm just like, I just read the most mind-bending book. It's I loved it. Absolutely loved it.
At least there's some sort of sense in there. I do. This is the thing with the science part of my brain and my fantasy side. You know, there's always something going on. But what happens if that did happen? And my superhero series, they genetically modified, but there's an element of realism in there. So, you know, the electric eel, one of them gets electric powers, and they, you know, use, you know, he's got 3 organs or something. One of them creates electricity, and I did a lot of research of weird, crazy animals that have weird powers in nature. And yeah, it's definitely fun to explore what magic exists in our own world, you know, as well, that we don't always think about.
I'd love to see your Google search history.
That's what I was thinking. Exactly that.
For the vampires, where are they? Over there. That's where they are. Yeah. I looked up vampire bats. You know, so the animals and the space shifters, I actually looked up their habits and their mating habits and all this stuff. So that was a really weird Google browsing hole that I drilled down into. Just Google vampire bats mating habits. There's definitely some weird things, and we don't use everything. We pick and choose what fits the story, but you know, it could be one sentence or something that I use out of a day's worth of Googling, which can be really, really bad in time. But, you know, yeah, it's all worth it.
I must admit, I looked up the, I can't remember the name, and even if I did, I'd pronounce it wrong. The rabbit thing that comes up to single women. And
the Waltz.
Yes, and I went down the rabbit hole of looking at the mythology behind it, because I showed my daughter, who is really into that sort of stuff, and she absolutely loved it.
Yeah,
she thought it was so good.
It was so funny. And then, because I remember discovering it in a picture somewhere, probably on Pinterest. It's this rabbit with chicken wings and stag horns and little teeth, you know, and then it was just so cute. I was like, oh, I just want one of those, cute and fluffy. And then, of course, as soon as I write things, something is like, oh, but maybe it's not cute and fluffy. And then I researched more, like you said, in the mythology of it. Apparently they appear to single women. And I thought, wonder why. Why would they appear to single women? Oh, because they want to take them. And, you know, and then, yeah, it was quite hilarious how it ended up being. I'm sure they'll make another appearance.
Yeah.
But they're not the brightest creatures, I don't think, in my book.
Like, even aspects like that, I just love it.
Okay.
Yeah.
It was such like a gender mashup, genre mashup of so many different things.
And we're so lucky today that we can do that. I mean, 10 years ago, mashing up genres like that to fit the story that you want to tell just never worked, you know. It was just something that nobody wanted to hear, and you know, I find it makes the story just a little bit more different, tickles those little
And
boxes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're free to actually create. And
Yeah. Sorry, Kat, did you say something as well?
Yeah, I said, do you find as an indie author you get that more flexibility to write?
Yes. Yes.
Different genres.
Yeah, definitely. Like, I went into writing the Fae Guardians wanting to appeal to the fantasy readers, but at the same time, I knew all I needed was enough elements that were common and popular to really appeal to everyone, and the rest of it I could let my brain go crazy and have a bit of fun. But yeah, it's exciting.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. You've got the rest of the Fae Guardians to go, and I don't know about the other girls, but I know there's a few of them that I'm really hanging out for because they're such intriguing characters that you're already waiting for their books to come out. And I know that they'll be years away.
There are a few that just dominate the page, and you know, there are some characters that they do what they want when you write. No matter what you do, they just do what like the crow shifters. They do what they want. And the funny story that I had, I went on a writing retreat last week. I'm lucky here in WA we could still do that sort of stuff with a whole bunch of other authors, and we're sitting out on this balcony, and this crow just hops up to us and just stares at us like, you know, half a meter away, just staring at us. And I tried to shoo it, and it just looked at me like, what the hell are you doing, lady? You know, I'm not going anywhere.
Watch your place.
We grabbed our cameras to take a photo, and then in that space, it went and grabbed my packet of twisties, which were half eaten, and it picked it, and it just took it, and it flew it away to his two little crow buddies, and they just went crazy eating my twisties, and then stared at us like, you're intruding in on our, you know, our food.
So there are your 3 crows.
Yeah, I was like, what?
They were cool pictures though. I saw them on Instagram.
Yeah, I was like, I wrote you before this happened, and you're behaving exactly like these characters behave. Yeah. They definitely do what they want. It's quite funny.
Okay, speaking of characters, which one's most like you that you've written?
In all my books, I was thinking about this, and I thought they're all a little piece of me, because, you know, they have to be coming from you. You just draw from different parts of you when you're writing them. But the one that I just had the most fun with just letting her be was probably Lilo from Greed. It's the second book in the Deadly Seven, because she's just a blabbermouth, and stuff just comes out of her mouth. She can't stop it all the time, and I'm like, yeah, that's me. It's basically what happens. Yeah.
I look forward to reading it.
Yeah.
You'll find out.
Yes, you'll find out when you read it, and you'll be like, yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know what to do.
Next up, we'll let you get a drink.
Sorry. See, that's all the talking again.
Do you want to keep asking? I'm just going to mute myself because crying.
Yeah. Okay. Are there any real life situations that you've integrated into your books?
Probably, you know, it's a bit hard when they're fantasy and make, you know, things like that. Most of them are, you know, like any of my friends who read my books, they might catch a phrase or something like that, and they go, oh, that's something Lana says all the time, or, you know, things like that. But in terms of situations, I think I make up so much stuff, not real exact stuff comes out. Rarely do I ever do that. My life is boring, I guess. You kind of, you know, 2 kids and a dog. And
So what inspired you to start writing?
I always wanted to write. Ever since I was little, we never had much money growing up. I had, my mum was a single mum with 4 girls, and we didn't even have a TV, for a long time. So we went to the library a lot, and we read books and we just devoured them, and story just became my life. And I've still got a notebook that I filled up when I was in year 7, I think, of some really random story that I wrote about myself and my best friend. And I remember getting the award for year 7, the end of primary school award, and I got the one for art. And I was so dark and dirty at the girl who got it for writing. And I was like, I just really wanted to write. But after that, I was basically, put it aside. My mum passed away when I was 13, so it's why I write under the big, Polish horrible name to say. I like to write, in her memory. And every time someone tries to pronounce an us or recommends it in a group and they spell it right, I go, yay, a little win. It gives me a little warm and fuzzy. But yeah, so I kind of put writing aside because I was good at doing one thing, and I did art, and I did, I kind of focused all my time and effort on that and spent many years doing other stuff. But I was always in my head coming up with stories and, drifting off to sleep thinking about, something, this or that. And I actually tried to do graphic novels first, and I was impatient, I just wasn't getting enough of my story into what you can do for graphic novels. So, and then I had my kids, and then none of my friends had kids yet. So I was kind of the one who was stuck at home, and I was getting out of the kid life, and they were starting to get into it. And then I thought, this is the perfect time. If I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it now. And I just started writing, and that was it. Oh, it's all over. I was like, I should have been doing this from the start.
Yeah. I would suggest making graphic novels after your novels, but then I'm thinking that would take your time and we don't get the books. So no, I take that back.
Yeah, I know. Every time I do sketching every now and again, and I just wish I had like clones of me so I could do it all. And I did hire a cover designer for a spin-off series that I'm writing, and it was my first time ever hiring a cover designer, and I'm so excited because she just does amazing work. And I thought, it'll give me time to do all the extra stuff for the drawing and the characters and little bonus things that you can do with all my spare time.
I love the idea for the Christmas card. I'm really looking forward to seeing that.
Yeah, I got to do that too. I was like, oh. Yeah, so I'm excited to do that too. I have to
what idea? I missed it.
So I polled everyone in my reader group, and I last year I did a Christmas card with a character from the Deadly Seven, checking the naughty list. So that was fun. And I asked this year what I should do. It has to be a Fae Guardian. So they picked, it was almost, I can't remember now. It was a toss between Indigo and someone else.
I think it was Thorn.
I can't remember. It was what it might have even been Rush. I can't remember. But Indigo won. So yeah, he definitely won. And so and then I polled him again to see what he should do, and it was being an elf on a shelf. So I have to think of something funny that he's doing. Yeah.
Angela, you're in my head with your second question about fantasy harems. Wait for my question for the first day of the month on where are we? What's the first day of the month? Wednesday for the voucher. And so start building your fantasy harem out of the books that we've read, because you're going to need it. Because yes, Rush. I don't know whether Rush or Thorn. I think Thorn's probably more my speed. But yes, definitely.
I love how and I used to hate reading books that had a different couple in each book. I was one of these old school. I started with urban fantasy. My pathway into romance was that way, and I loved having the one character. Like Alona Andrews type books, and you just read the one, you get the whole journey, and I was just really, I loved that deep connection you get with the people. But now that I'm writing like this, I love how there's somebody for everyone, You might like one, but somebody else likes another one, and, it's definitely fun to do that. So there's a lot of characters for harems.
Yes, yeah, there is. There's and they all have their own quirks and personalities.
Yeah.
And you have to mix them together perfectly so they can complement. Let's say.
Yeah, that was the fun part about writing the Deadly Seven, because they all had one of the deadly sins. That was their thing. So, you've got. I just finished with Pride, who's the cocky, arrogant leader of the group, and then. You've got Greed, who I kind of flipped a bit and had him being so pedantic at keeping his sin not too generous and not too greedy. So he was, straight down the line. And then Wrath is the angry one. And, so you did get a big cast of characters, but it was really good to have them feel so different.
Mm.
Yeah. Same as the Fae Guardians, I guess, is 12. I don't know why I do this to myself.
All I can say is
12.
thank you.
Yeah.
And apparently the Slua, the weird kind of
the
half baddie people that everyone wants as well. I'm like, they're not part of the 12.
Yeah, no, it was definitely intriguing in that last book. Last book or book before? Whichever one. It just, wow.
They kind of want their story told as well. This is, I'm a pantser, so in case you can't tell, I don't plot a huge amount, because once I start writing, stuff goes sideways, and then I find that I just wasted all that time trying to structure my book when they want
do what they
else.
want.
Yeah. I can imagine my face when I'm writing. I'm just getting really.
I can imagine that. Do as you're told.
Yeah.
Wait, don't go there. Stay here.
Yeah.
What are you doing there? You're not supposed to be there. I did not plan for you to be there.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I don't think any of them would listen.
No, they don't care. I'm like, oh, well, as long as the words are going down, it's... Yeah. But, they're the funnest parts as well, I guess. They turn out to be the best parts is when they do what they want.
Mm.
Yeah. Okay. Cami, do you want to ask our last question for Lana? Since I can see this is probably your question.
Yes, but I'm on my husband's laptop and I don't have anything but my notebook. So
My question, I'll ask.
Oh, it's your question, you ask it. All I know is it's not my question. I actually said to Lana, I said, do you want a more PG question?
I was just like, because usually I wouldn't ask a question like that, but I was just like, well, because of the content of the books that we're reading and my booktube channel, like I swear on it all the time. So I'm like, it's fine. I did actually have another word in there, but I was like, I'll change it. So the question is,
I'm going to make you say it.
Which way? Okay. Bang, marry, or murder? Who of the main characters in The Longing of Lone Wolves would you bang, marry, or kill?
Okay, so does this mean I can include all the 12 Fae Guardians? Because most of them are in it, and the main characters later on, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think all of them.
Yeah. And do you want me to include the villains, or are they just too obvious that I will kill them?
That's too,
can't kill those.
Too obvious.
Okay,
Can't kill them. I'm not in it.
Only to save them, maybe.
Yeah. Okay. So Bane, I think would be Cloud because he would be fun. Mary, probably Rush because he was my first. And, he's a sweetie and, he's a growly sweetie. He's just great. And Murder, that's a tough one. Maybe the Prime because she just annoys the crap out of me. She is, I think she's got her own story, so that's kind of percolating as well, which is a bit of fun. Yeah.
I was really, really hoping you were going to say that.
Oh, really? Because you don't like her?
You were going to say that. No, I was hoping that you were going to say like she has like her and stuff
story.
Going on
Yeah, I actually. Oh, yeah. I've got story percolating, a prequel, possibly. Yeah.
I was like, when I was reading it, even from the first book, I was like, I need a novella of the Prime. I need a novella.
Oh, see, it'll happen now. All my spare time.
Like all of that spare time.
Yeah. There is something that has been in the back of my head, and sometimes, and a lot of writers tell me this as well. You think and you dream and you fantasize and you imagine so many things that you forget you haven't written them down, and the readers don't know that as well. So. Yeah, some of that involves the Prime, so I might have to.
Can I give you an image of what I see Prime from Doctor Strange? The lady with the ball.
Ah, yes.
So that's in my head all the time.
All the time.
She's so
Tilda Swinton.
Composed and cold, but
I
don't know if she's bad or she's good or.
Yeah.
So that's
there's something going on there, and I'm sure I'll do that. When I do the novella, it'll all probably make sense.
So excited.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You're
so
just sitting there like this.
You will.
Oh dear. Crack me up. Okay. No, that was great. Thank you so much for opening up to us with all that. That was absolutely fantastic.
I'm always happy to talk, as you know. The talking character is the one most like me. So yeah. You gotta make me, you gotta say, Lana, shh. Yeah, and I'll be all right. Yeah.
Kat does that to me all the time.
Exactly the same,
It
right?
must be a Lana thing. I don't know. I don't know many Lanas, so it's really cool. It must be a Lana thing. That's cool. Yeah, I'm okay with that.
Like just to shh a lot, and then I'm too much.
Yeah,
I'm like a big hype train. So everyone's just like, just calm down a bit.
Just chill a little bit. That's why it all comes out in my books. It's good. My poor kids.
Yeah. Cat from the background in Lana's.
Oh, Miko going.
Yes. She was.
Yes.
Weird cat
running
person.
around.
So, yeah.
Okay. We better move on to the other books that we read this month before we run completely out of time. Are we right to move on?
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure we'll come back to your book at some point tonight.
Oh, now we're reading them in order.
Now we can read them in order. Okay. Have we got slides along the bottom? Or not tonight? No?
Please hold.
Yay!
Wait, hang on. I'm going to do.
Okay.
Ooh.
Cool. I'm starting with Assassin's Reign. Okay, by A. Lonergan. I really liked it. It's magic fantasy, slow burn, sort of young adult. I won't swear on it being young adult. It's a trilogy. I only read the first book. So if you give it to anyone under 18 and it's not a young adult, I do apologise. I've made that mistake with my kids before. So I do apologise. It was really good. Basically, you've got two countries. So an emperor sends his assassin to another country to kill the king. But while she's over there, she falls in love with him, all that sort of stuff. But it turns out that while she's over there, she finds out that the Emperor's been suppressing her magic, and she's really the descendant of death. And and in amongst all of that, they're kidnapped and blah, 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 all that. All that happens at 50% of the book. Okay, and you're sort of like, wow, all of this could have been an entire book. So and then all this other stuff happens after it. So you almost get 2 books worth of stuff in a whole book, but it doesn't necessarily feel cramped. Great characters, chock full of stories. Sometimes it can be a bit confusing, so you do have to go back and read it again. But overall, I found it really good. Yeah, as I said, good characters. Young adult. And that was probably my sum up on that one. It probably similar to can't remember the name. Sorry. Yeah. I haven't even been drinking tonight. No. It'll come to me. Yeah. Knew I should have written it down. But overall, no. I'd recommend this one. If you haven't read it, definitely put it on your TBR. If you're looking for magic fantasy without necessarily too much heat. So yeah, that's that one for me. Next up. Oh, do you guys have anything to add to that one?
I didn't finish that one. My whole family was sick this month.
Oh, so that's right. Yes.
I didn't read
this was a
quarter of my
difficult
TBR.
month. Yeah.
It was a crazy month. You got it all from.
Yeah. Cool. Okay. Next up is Seraphim Academy.
Yes, by Elizabeth Briggs. I'm just running off memory. I hope that's right. Excuse me. I really liked this one. So in Seraphim Academy, we follow a woman who shouldn't exist. So she is part angel, part demon, and she pretty much cons her way into the Seraphim Academy, which is for angels. And her whole reason for being there is to find her missing brother Jonah. Why her name has just escaped my head right this second. Olivia. Liv. Thank you so much. But yeah, I really enjoyed this, and the thing that I liked most about it is that, or like one thing that I thought was really, really cool was that her, like the demon powers came in earlier than the angel powers, and the angel powers didn't come in until 21, and then they had to go to school. So like after like college age, like university age, and then they had to go back to school. I thought that was really cool because you guys know me, I'm not much of like a high school academy kind of person. Like that's not really my jam. But I could get behind that because they were older. And I really enjoyed this one. I thoroughly enjoyed it and will be continuing. But it's reverse harem, what it's going to be. It still was a little bit, but not a lot. It's like mid-steam level as well. Like a nice warm heat on the spice level. Look at me using all these TikTok terms. Paranormal Fantasy, I really, really enjoyed it. Really, really enjoyed it.
I mean, I liked that even though it was a bully romance, their reason for bullying her was actually they thought they were doing a good thing. Like Noah, the brother, had asked them to make sure that that she wasn't in the school, so they decided to bully her out of the school. And so I think so they they thought that they were doing the right thing, but it was still a bully romance. I thought I was the same. I thought it was really good. I actually read through to the end of the series because I really like the political, like, suspense sort of overarching idea. And I like the series as a whole. It was really good.
I only read the first of this one, and I'm really looking forward to
Same
reading
with me.
more.
Yeah.
Don't recommend reading the audiobook while you're cooking and your kids walk in the house. That was awkward. They're like, Mum, what are you listening to? I was like, what? Oh, nothing. Like, trying to turn it off so fast. They're like,
yeah, the teacher-student thing was really cool. Yeah, I thought that was nice as well.
It was really well done, really tastefully done. That could have been like not so. I still would have been here for it if it wasn't. But it was really tastefully done. I liked it, and I want to see where that relationship goes too.
I've read a lot of reverse heroines where it's a professor involved, and even though there are some out there, I can get enough. I mean, it's a change. So in dynamics and relationships, and so it's interesting.
Yeah. Before we wrap up her book, talking about that book, I just want to remind everyone that Elizabeth Briggs has a new book coming out on September 1st called Moon Touched. I will post about it on the Facebook page on September 1st, but I thought I'd remind everyone tonight.
Cool. Is that first in the series?
Yes.
Brand new? Awesome. Cool.
Okay. Next one up is The Mountain Man. Show me.
Yay. So this is the first book I've read, actually the first day of the month. I can say I've had a very good reading month. I liked it. So the title says it all, property. It was a bit difficult. So when I read this book and when you read this one, you have to consider that it's a different world. You cannot bring your real feelings from what you would see a 43-year-old doing or acting. And for instance, I'm an independent woman. I wouldn't have a man like that. But all of this aside, I really enjoyed the book. I had so many moments bursting out laughing. It was fun. When you think of a mountain man, you see Bo and his brothers. Also, when I was a little girl, I was watching 7 Brothers for 7 Brides, or 7 Brides for 7 Brothers, and this is what I had in mind. So it's an old movie, but it's quite mountain man like. And that I think I enjoyed it more because it a fantasy come true, maybe something. And there are things that I don't know. Again, I didn't expect a 40-year-old to act, or when he does things out of the ordinary, like the first dirty text. I was like, what? So it got me surprised in some aspects. And that's it. So I enjoyed it. I will read the Brothers series. I like the dynamics and everything they had. So for me, it was a good start of the month.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it as well. It's like you said, you've sort of got to it's sort of like when you read fantasy, you take that step back and go, well, this isn't real. The same thing with this. You take that step back and go, well, this isn't real. A 43-year-old man is not going to throw a 21-year-old over his shoulder and walk down the street. I don't think.
I don't care about that. I care about
when you read it, it's okay because you're engaged in the book, and as a book, it was good reading. And that's what mattered. It was a good book to get into and enjoy. Am I going to read the other Bennett brothers? Yes, they were hilarious. I loved the brothers. They were just so sweet together. They all live in a house together. They're all from like, I think 30 up to 43. Do I think that 7 brothers will live together? Oh, probably not. But
Watch the movie.
Were they sweet living together? Oh, yes, they were. So, yeah, no, I loved it. I will read the rest. So, yeah. Oh, and a shout out to Gemma Weir. She had a little girl in the last week or two.
Yay.
So, congratulations. So, yes.
I
Okay.
just want to comment on you.
I would love to listen to the audiobook.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Sorry, yes, Lana.
When you said that, like, would a 40-year-old man, like, put you over his shoulder and carry you up the street, I'm 32 and I would love if that happened to me.
Fair enough.
It's like, yeah, cool, go on then. Moving on, we have Pretty Boy D.
Oh, still me. Okay. I like the trope. So this is one trope that I usually read when I'm a mood reader. So roommates, friends to lovers, it's my jam. I also enjoy the Never Have I Ever list, which I'm working on my bucket list, which was fun thinking. Yeah. One thing for people who haven't read it, I know I talked with Kat about this. There is a trilogy, Kings of Cypress Press. It would be great reading it before this one.
Yeah.
So you would understand the story more, the characters, they have an appearance before. So they have actually back and forth from the trilogy. So that would be better for you to understand the whole background. Okay, the blurb on its own makes you want to read the book. So in books like this, you realize the power of a good blurb. And you want to read them. I also said that I will finish the story. I'm making notes so I know exactly what series I have to go back to, because there's a lot of books and you lose track of them. So Unrequited Romance. Dane has been wanting Jess since he was 12. And that list, the Never Have I Ever, it's the moment where he says, this is the time, this is my moment, I'm all in. And from there, you have to read the book. So yeah, those are my notes on the book.
Yep. Lana, how much do you agonize over your blurb?
I've actually found if you write the blurb after the book is written, it's very painful because there's so many things in your book that you're trying to condense, and you just want to give them a little taste of it without giving it all away. And I've started to write them earlier on in the book now. So I just know just enough about my characters, but not enough about the story. I know just enough, that gets me excited. And so I write the blurb. And then I write the story now, which has made it so much easier. Yeah, oh man, you could spend hours and days and weeks trying to get this story into a blurb. It's still, somebody will come up to me and go, oh, what's your story about? And I'll be like, oh, I don't know stuff. So many things. Yeah, it's painful.
Because that's the thing, a blurb and a cover really does sell a book. Yeah. It's so powerful in terms of just catching a reader's eye. I mean, I'm a self-confessed book cover lover. I mean, I just absolutely love it. And I mean, they're so powerful, as well as like all the Instagram and the teasers and everything authors put out now, and I mean, your covers are great in terms of catching the eyes of readers, and as well as the blurbs. You do it really well, and I just it makes sense, I guess, that you do put the blurb together earlier in the piece because
some people can just write it and after the story's done and they're fine. Other people, you know, are like me and I can't. But as soon as I took away the story and I realized it was a sales tool rather than my actual story, it felt so much better. Same as the covers, you know. I used to freelance for a little while doing cover design for other authors for the last few years, and it was the hardest thing to get across to many people because they want everything exactly how it is in the story, and you have to really try to tell them it's a sales tool. It's nothing to do with your story. I'm sorry, it's what the reader wants, you know. Yeah,
but if you read the book and the guy has brown eyes and the cover has blue eyes, people pick on that.
Yes,
so
that drives me nuts. That's the one thing I say to them: make sure the hair is right and the eye color is right, and you know, as long as we've got a general cut, you know, likeness going on, the rest of it doesn't really matter. Yeah, I can't stand different color hair, and you're like, you know, or even if it's black hair and there's a blonde in there, and you're like, no. For the whole book, I'm thrown. But I'm a very visual person. I guess some people, you know, really imagine their characters, and other people it's a blur, and they don't go that far.
I imagine the characters. I imagine them as they flash. I don't know. It doesn't matter what they are saying. I just have different pictures in my head and don't bother changing them. So
that's the funny thing. Some people don't like to see a face on a cover, and some people do. Like I have an author friend who just cuts off every book is there. You know, everyone's cut off because their readers don't want to see the face. They like to imagine themselves what the character looks like. They just want just enough, you know.
I don't think that's an aspect. It doesn't bother me. It bothers me when I see a very ugly guy that should be hot. It's not. And I was like, that's what bothers me, not actually seeing the face.
And I think that's it. It's so subjective. Some people think one person is hot. Some people think another one is, and you just chop off their face and look at their body.
Yeah, but from pretty to hot, it's quite a lot of steps. But from ugly to pretty, maybe one. It's definitely hard. I grew up reading fantasy novels, and I hated sometimes seeing the drawing on the front and going, that's nothing like the character. Who is that?
Especially in like the 90s, like 90s fantasy. The covers are so bad.
And the main hero in my head, obviously I was a budding romance reader and writer, and he was this perfect godlike person, and then you get the cover and you're like, who is this scrawny dweeby guy? This is not him. And I would like put my hand on the cover and just, you know, cover them up and pretend it was someone else.
You know what's funny is that I read I'm in Europe, okay? I read electronically, but then I see in libraries the books that I read and the US or cover, and then I see the covers that the publishing house made for the local, and it's totally different, and sometimes it's not. But again, they have to sell the book, so I think they do the research, and then that's a nice thing to see the difference from the author and the publishing houses from all over, because Italy has different, Romania, UK. Yes.
Yeah, you can tell. Or you go to a big traditionally published author like Nalini Singh, and you see, like, I love her US covers. I've gone online and I've bought the US versions because I didn't like the Australian versions. So you know, but there's big difference to what sells in the shops here on the shelf compared to what you can get somewhere else. It's very interesting.
Yeah, definitely.
This is why I redesign my covers sometimes 5 times. So you get so many different versions. I just can't stop.
Yeah. Well, I ran out and bought the covers just before you changed them. So I've got the old ones.
They'll probably change again. I'm sorry.
That's okay. If you change the size, what was that, Lana?
As long as I don't mind the covers changing so much. Like if I have half of like the old one and then a couple of the newer editions, I don't mind that so much. It's when they change size.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Like
that's
don't
bad.
change size. Why?
Yeah. I keep my editions in the same size. So they normally come out in one size, and then I'll have sometimes a special edition or hardback. It's in a different size, but I'll keep all the hardbacks in the same size, I'm the same. There's nothing worse than having them lined up on a shelf and one's up there.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's like my Wheel of Time and what else is it? The Dark Tower series. They're all different sizes on my shelf, and it's driving me insane.
Yeah, I know, because they would release them. You get into the series for those old ones, and they've had like 5 books out, so they've released them at a trade paperback, and then suddenly you catch up to the author, and then they're releasing them at the big 6x9, and then I've got those too. For years they taunted me on the shelf.
That's why I put my Robert Jordan away. They're all everywhere.
While we're talking about old school fantasy, Lana, what's your favorite old school fantasy? Well, not old school fantasy, but what was your favorite fantasy?
Yeah, so I read The Wheel of Time, which I loved. I tried to start rereading it because the TV series is coming out. I don't know if you know, so I got really excited about that, and then I just couldn't reread it. They're a lot slower, and and I thought I'll just wait till the TV show comes out. But I also liked the Terry Goodkind ones with the Seeker and all that. I read that years ago. Yeah, I like that.
Was it the truth?
Yeah. I liked it. I liked it back then. I don't know if I'd like it as much now. As you grow up, you get a different view on.
Yeah.
And your
reading preferences change.
Yeah, and even they definitely do. And my favorite of all time is Robin Hobb's Assassin's.
Yes.
Is it Assassin's Quest? Yeah.
Yeah.
She was my first author that I met as well, and I remember going in with all these books, and I just had to tell her, you just blurt out something stupid, fangirled all over her. She just signed it, and you walk off, and you're going, "What did I say? I don't know what I said." She's like, "You loony." Yeah, and I lent that first book with the beautiful illustrations to someone. It's probably my husband when I met him, and he doesn't read books. And it's disappeared. It's gone forever, and I can't get that first one to match up. The ones they release now, so they'll never match. Yeah, it's really sad.
I've got the new ones.
I've got the old ones when they first came out.
Oh, so you've got the one I want.
Yeah, no, we read them when they first came out as well.
Yeah, I loved them. They were great. Yeah, I also like Isabel Carmody. I don't know, she's an Australian author. I grew up on those Open Newton books. They were just amazing. I love those. Yeah, she was great.
Yeah.
I obviously read a lot of fantasy. I'm surprised it's taken me so long to write fantasy. But I haven't gone back to I got into romance, and it was all over for everything else. I haven't gone back to anything else but romance for such a long time.
Yeah, I found that when I was younger, I read fantasy, and now that I'm older, I'm reading more paranormal romance. I like the happy ever after more.
Yeah,
I think because I'm an adult, because I know that there's no happy ever after as an adult.
Yeah,
your jobs and your shit that you do every day. I need it in my books. whereas fantasy
Yeah.
doesn't have that as much. So
Yeah. I the same. I think as well. It also had a lot to do with what was available in the shops back then. You know, we didn't get I don't know about you, but unless it wasn't Mills and Boon stuff, which is, you know, great as well, there wasn't a lot of different romance, like the paranormal romance in the shops.
And
so it was read your fantasy and
yeah.
The only romance that we ever had was like the Mills and Boon, and they were all like historical romance.
Like,
period
we
romance.
didn't even get like the great. I get so jealous seeing these pictures on Instagram. You see the Step Back Saturday hashtag. There's all these old school historical romances, and they've got these books, and inside you've got your pretty picture on the outside, and inside they've got this gorgeous Fabio style, you know, raunchy illustration picture of the main two historical romance, and you're like going, that's amazing. Why don't we have that? You know, I've never seen this anywhere. And they're so great. I have never seen one in real life. It's like, you know.
My mum has at least two. She used to have heaps.
Does she? Oh, I don't know where they were. I was looking in the wrong shops, obviously.
Yeah. I mean, I used to read historical romance, but obviously not with those sort of illustrations in them. I don't think I would have been happy. But the Mills and Boon, my nan read them, so I didn't read them because they were old lady books. So you wanted something of your own to read. So
it was fantasy or Anne Rice. This is why I love Anne Rice and vampires now, because she was also there.
Yes. But that was a rather big tangent. We better.
Yes, sorry, I told you I'll talk forever.
Actually, we'll move back. Actually, this is a good segue. We'll move back to Warden, which I dropped the new cover for in the group during the day that I did the Teaser Tuesday for Warden, which was an amazing new cover, actually. I really like it with, hold on, let me turn my page to Warden. So it had Max and Riker on it rather than just Max, which was really cool. I read this book, really liked it. It's got that sassy female versus grumpy alpha, which I think if we had a theme this month, I think that would probably be the theme rather than anything else. But we said we didn't really have a theme running through the books. I think that's
maybe sunshine versus grumpy. That's actually the trope.
Yeah. So so she's an untrained warden. So the wardens are kind of like druids, I guess, and they're meant to be guarded by these paladins who are trained warriors who are meant to protect them while they tend to the earth. But she obviously didn't grow up within this society, so she didn't have these paladins to protect her. And she was just sitting in a pub one day and these paladins came across her. And obviously she doesn't take too kindly to it. But it's actually really humorous. It's a funny book. It's written by Montana Ash, and she's an Aussie that's set in Australia. And it's got that bit of Aussie quirky humour to it. I really liked it. Similar to where Aaron Spear had that Aussiness to his writing. I really liked the characters, both the main and secondary characters. It had great squads. So it had like a girl squad and a bro sort of groupie to it. And then they were great support friends. And I just thought that was really well done. There were political moves within the book in terms of just coming in and changing things. And I liked where it was going, and then there was this massive Cliffy at the end of the book, which killed me because Cliffies always do. This one isn't on Kindle Unlimited, but Montana Ash is releasing a box set of all the books in the next couple of weeks, and she will be releasing them for a low price for a very short time on release. So when she drops that, I'll put a post up, and so we can swoop in and get them. So you can finish them off. In that box set will also be a couple of novellas of different stories to go with it as well. She's added, I think, 5,000 words to the first book as well. Definitely give it a read. It was, I don't want to say surprisingly good, because that sounds like I didn't expect it to be good. It was different than I expected. It was an urban fantasy with magic, and as I said, it was really humorous. I haven't read one like that in a while. Definitely give it a go. I'd recommend it, but I expect you'll probably not have to read the whole series, but you'll want to read the whole series.
Yeah.
So you're up to read 7 books. So yeah, that's Warden.
That's
Anything
what I
to
got
add,
from
Dawn?
it too.
This book has been on my to be read list for a while, so I'm happy that I actually got to read it, and with you. So yeah.
Yeah.
And I think we have one more book to
One
go.
more. Starfire, Lana.
Starfire by Jade Waltz. This was a fun science fiction erotica almost. It was very spicy, super fun. So the main character is at a rave, goes into a dance contest, wins, has a crown and everything, and then gets abducted on stage in front of everyone by aliens. And then she finds herself trapped in this cage with 2 other people who she thinks are cosplayers, because she's all dressed up in her fantasy cosplay rave outfit. So she thinks that there are other cosplayers as well, only to find that they are not. They are actual fairy aliens, which I thought was super hilarious and fun, so fun. And the way that the different shades of their skin and stuff, it was just really cool. I'm not usually a insta-lovey person. I don't really click with it, but I liked this one. I thought it was really fun and fast, and everything happens. There's not really much slow. It's definitely not slow. It's just fast, hot, and heavy. And that's how it goes down. Yeah. Do you guys have anything else to add?
I love that it was a standalone, because reverse harem standalones are not that easy to find. And I have 2 things after reading this book. So it was fun because she believed she was dreaming. So you do stuff when you think I would imagine you would be more if you thought you were dreaming. And who gets a cosplay that realistic? I mean, think on the real life. You're actually going to it can happen. So those are my thoughts after reading that book.
Just going back to the suspension of belief, and also you've been kidnapped. So in my head, I was like, I'll give her a pass, because your adrenaline would be high, you would be freaking out, and anything that just didn't make sense, your brain automatically wants to logic it out and make it make sense. So
or go in denial.
Exactly. I was like,
yeah,
I'd probably be the same.
I kind of want to hear about the twin brothers that rescued her.
The what?
The 2 twins that rescued her. How the alien ship came and rescued them at the end. Yeah, I want to hear about them.
Oh, yeah. Actually, yes. And now that you're telling me, I read this at the start of the month. Yes, I do. I wanted to actually learn about more of a couple of them.
Yeah.
And how life in the
galaxy
safe world, yeah. How that works and stuff. But yeah. And I felt real sorry for the blue guy. for like most of the book, I was like, oh, he's just trying to do the right thing by his standards. But yeah.
Yeah, I agree, Angela. She was very quick on there.
Tori was kinky as hell. I mean, she jumps on the alien being quick, especially since they don't speak the same language.
She was
Yeah,
really.
She thought she was, yes.
Yes. So
Again,
why would you keep to yourself in your dreams? I mean.
Okay.
And
that wraps up our
dreams like that.
Sorry, what was that, Lana?
I have not been single in so long I wouldn't remember dreams like that. Dreams? What dreams? I don't have those dreams. What are you talking about, babe?
And on that bombshell, we have wrapped up 7 books.
That's me. Way to make it awkward, Lana. Ooh.
Okay, so a reminder that we are still voting for our September books. We've got until tomorrow, let's say 7 o'clock, to vote. There's some which are pretty clear winners already, but we've got 2 at least that are hanging in the balance. So get your votes in, and I'll stick a reminder up on the board, but get your votes in and we will put up the winners tomorrow night, probably about 8 o'clock. There's some great books there, as you may have seen. I've already read Mannix because I couldn't wait, and whoa, that was mind-blowing. And let's say it was definitely raunchier than Chapter 8. So we are definitely not live reading that. I know. Okay. Yes.
So, Lana, if you don't know what the heck we're talking about, it is a couple of months ago, a book written by Brett Andrews. Her PA gave us a challenge to live read Chapter 8. So we live read Chapter 8. And it was amazing, very spicy. We were like...
we were looking at each other
all the time
and trying to have a blank face.
Yeah. I do that sometimes when I write them, and I'm like, what am I doing? Yeah, that's great.
Angel, no.
How about, Angela, if you join us?
Yeah, that's
I will choose a chapter for the girls to read, since I've already read it.
Well, the first sentence is Mannix, right? The first sentence of the blurb just sets the tone. It's not every day you get abducted from a strip club in only a thong.
Yeah. That's actually one of the less raunchy bits. So, it was a really good book, though. If it's chosen, that's actually... Yeah, it was a really good book. It was just very raunchy. So, yeah, as I said, there's still a couple of authors' books that are we're still trying to work out which books are going to be chosen. So vote, and welcome to all the authors that have joined out of next month's authors, and it's great to have you. And I think that's about it.
Awesome.
And
Lana,
thank you so much, Lana, for joining us.
Thank you for having me. You guys are doing great. I can't wait till Babe and we all get to meet each other in real life and have some fun. And it's going to be amazing. I saw the photos from last time and everyone's been telling me how amazing it is. I can't wait. This is why I'm growing my hair. We'll see. We'll see how long it gets.
I might shave my head, like just both sides instead of just one.
Ooh.
You could do like from the 100. I always thought you looked like the.
Who?
Octavia.
Yeah.
Octavia.
Yes.
She's badass.
She is.
She's awesome. She's awesome. I love
James
that show.
absolutely loves 100, and I'm going to tell him that you said that. He's going to be like, no, because she's his favorite.
I think she's everyone's favorite.
Yeah.
Awesome.
But yes, thank you so much for joining us. That was absolutely fantastic to have you
Yeah.
on board. And
Thank
it
you.
was wonderful reading your book this month, and we will avidly hang out until
And you read
October
your
3.
releases, yes.
Yeah,
I got to write it now.
Yeah, bring on Prime's no
I know, yeah, and that one too. All of them.
All of them. Okay, then. Thank you.
Awesome.
Well,
Thank
Angela
you.
for joining in, and the other people that have joined in, and we'll see you next month.
Bye.
See you later.
Bye-bye.